Hello, welcome to my show, Olio. My name is Susan Rushton, and before I go any further, I need, as always, to explain what Olio means. One definition is that it's short for olla podrida, which is Spanish for rotten bowl, which I just get such a kick out of. It's a Spanish-Portuguese dish with essentially everything in the world in it. Pork in all its iterations, any kind of pork, any cut of pork, that's probably in there, including bacon and pig's feet and pulled pork and sausage, including also chicken, chickpeas, cabbage, carrots, beans, pig's ears, and of course onions and garlic. As I said, everything in the world in it except popcorn and juicy fruit. That's one definition. Another definition is that olio comes in between acts of a melodrama. So you might have somebody juggling, you might have somebody singing, you might have somebody doing a skit. None of it has anything to do with anything else, and certainly none of it has anything to do with the melodrama. So in other words, it's apples, oranges, and a monkey wrench. So welcome to my monkey wrench. Today my guests are people I admire completely, absolutely, because they do stuff that I cannot do, won't do, have no interest in doing. Even though if they could come and do it at my house, I'd be thrilled. These are representatives of Master Gardeners of Placer County. Next to me is the board president, Peggy Beltramo. Thank you for joining me, Peggy. And board vice president, Tece Markel. Thank you, Tece, for joining me.
You're welcome.
If you are interested, afterward, ever, in finding out more about Placer Gardeners of Placer County, log on to this website address, pcmg.ucanr.org. pcmg.ucanr.org. And before we started taping, Peggy told me that the hotline is 530-889-7388. Again, 530-889-7388. They are in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 to noon, or you could leave a message. And I don't know what sort of questions one would ask on a hotline. Please, do I have to do this? Can't I stop? Is it too hot for me to be out here? So, no further ado, we get to talk to these women. So, what is Master Gardeners of Placer County?
I'm sorry to tell you, we do not go to people's gardens with our shovels and rakes.
Oh, Peggy, well, I guess we're going to have to stop shooting right now. So what do you do instead?
Master Gardeners of Placer County has been in existence since 1983.
Okay.
1985, I'm sorry.
All right.
The Master Gardener program was begun when farm advisors through UC land-grant universities were getting too many questions from the home gardeners.
Okay.
Their job is to advise growers, and they were getting so many questions they couldn't keep up with them. They decided that they would
It's time for a new
get
organization.
volunteers
Yeah, okay.
who could come in and answer the questions that the public was interested in knowing. So that's our mission.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned the hotline. Tece is one of our hotline experts. Maybe you can talk a little more about what kinds of questions we get.
Well, it does depend on the weather, of course, as you mentioned. So right now it's a lot of vegetable gardening questions. It might be insect questions. And so people can actually come in and bring us a chewed on leaf of something or a little captured insect, and we can help identify it, tell them if it's a problem, because some insects are good.
Yes.
They're beneficial insects.
Bees.
So we don't want to just kill
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
So it's good for them to find out the answer to that. So they can either call us, they can leave a voicemail, they can send an email, which could include photos of the problem area, whether it's a plant or, it looks like it has a disease, or they can bring a sample in and we can look at it together and find out the answer.
Okay. I need to clarify that we are talking, these lovely women and I are talking in June of 2019. We may be seeing this in July or August, but every month is different, right?
It does.
Every
It's
problem,
different.
new problems in different months.
Right.
Okay.
It's often weather related, of course. What's
Yeah.
growing, and the weather is always a big up and down question.
Yeah.
You know.
And if one wants to email, the email is on the website.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It is. Mhm.
Okay. And again, the website pcmg.ucanr.org. And if you're having questions, comments, and where is Master Gardeners? Is it in?
Our office is actually right over here in DeWitt Center.
Okay.
Mhm.
And can you give me the address?
It's on that yellow form there.
Ah, yes, yes.
I don't have it
They
memorized.
gave me the address.
It's in the same office as the Ag Commissioner.
Yes.
Okay. Visit 11477 Avenue, DeWitt.
Right.
Okay. 11477 Avenue in DeWitt, in Auburn.
I do want to just add one thing to what Tece said. If you bring in a sample, please bring it in a Ziploc bag so that we are not propagating something that shouldn't be out there in the public. So
Okay.
put it in a Ziploc bag and then
Right.
bring it in.
Okay.
And if there isn't anybody in the office on that day, they put it in the fridge and keep it until
Right.
there is someone there, so that we will always call you back if you've called in with a question or come in with a question.
All right. Now, why are the two of you involved with Master Gardeners?
Well, I would say we're both really interested in gardening and want to share our knowledge. And as time goes on, we learn more and more.
Yes. Okay, because you keep gardening
Right.
and you keep reading
And going to classes.
and talking and
Yes.
yes,
Mhm.
and answering questions. That will always help you learn if you have to teach. Yes.
I'm a retired school teacher too, so it was a natural outgrowth when I retired. What am I going to do in my retirement? We just graduated a class of 24
24.
New Master Gardeners in May, and many of them, when they came to interview, said, I just retired 2 months ago and I've been waiting a long time to do this. These are people who are gardeners, passionate about gardening, but also want to give back to the public and do the public service
Okay.
that we are known for.
All right. So what is the definition of a Master Gardener?
We give research-based information. We don't just tell you what Grandma taught us.
Okay.
And so that all of our answers are from research-based information.
So you can give them the sources.
So we go to the .edu sites and find the answers that are pertinent to Placer County.
Okay. And the more current the information, the better.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So that's people who graduated. How does one become a Master Gardener?
Well, there's a process. It happens every 2 years. In Placer County, it's every odd year, every
Okay.
odd numbered year. And there's an informational meeting in the fall of the previous year. And then people fill out an application if they're interested. And we have an interview process. And
So you can't automatically
no, because
be in
we only have space for 25 students
Okay.
in our county. So we often have more applicants than that. So we have this interview process. It's narrowed down then, and then people begin the classes. It's a 4-month long from January to the end of April every time we do this, and it's a 4-hour class
Once a week.
once a week.
Okay.
And there are other things involved, field trips and a presentation that a group has to give to the whole class. So there's requirements along the way as well as lots of reading.
Yeah. Is there hands-on stuff?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Shoot. Okay.
But our two most famous responses are, If you ask me a question, it depends.
Okay.
And that's a really good question. I'm going to do some research and I'm going to get back to you on that because
Right.
we certainly can't know everything.
we can't
Even
know everything.
60 hours of Master Gardener training does not teach us everything there is to know.
That's a really good question, and I'm going to have to get back to that, back to you with that because I get to do more research.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And are you ever able to say, yes, I can answer that question right now off the tip of my head, out of the tip of my
Sure.
tongue?
And I'm guessing Tece, being on the hotline weekly, gets a lot of the same questions, repeat questions over and over again, because everybody in the county has the same problems, at
Yeah.
the same time of year.
Yeah.
So those questions are on the books. We actually have a big backlog
Right.
of answers
Okay.
to common questions that come
What's
up.
a common question in June?
Common question.
Well,
in June.
we're just starting in June.
Well, see, it depends. Because we had a lot of rain this year.
Yeah.
So, and the weather was cold. So everything is moved back.
Uh-huh.
Production is moved back on tomatoes,
Okay.
whatever it is. Or there are other problems that are associated with a wet spring that we're still dealing with. So it really does depend.
Okay.
I have to admit, though, I picked a tomato this morning.
Did you?
Really?
It was a cherry tomato.
Uh-huh.
But I always wanted to beat my father-in-law who got tomatoes by the 4th of July.
You
What is
did.
it, the 12th
You
of June?
did.
And a sunflower.
And that's unusual since
Yeah.
Very.
it was so wet.
Wow. Okay. What are some of the assumption I've been making about master gardeners is that they are superb gardeners. The group is involved. The members are all superb gardeners and love to lord it over people who aren't.
There's no lording over going on.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to brag about my tomato.
Boy, this is boring. Let's try something else.
We are not master gardeners in the fact that we are the ultimate in gardeners. If you saw my yard, I have a saying, it's not weeds, that's pollinator habitat. Because I can't keep up with my gardens, especially having been president. A
You
lot
had
of my
other things
time
to
has
do.
gone
Yeah.
to the organization. So I do not hold myself up as an expert gardener, but I do hold myself up as somebody who can find an answer.
Yeah, yes, because you know where to go. That's the definition of an educated person, is someone who knows where to go to find the answer.
That's right.
Yes. The definition of an educated person, someone who knows where to go to find the answer. Not everybody knows where to go. And if you're interested in learning more about gardening in Placer County, these are the people who are educated enough to tell you. For more information, pcmg.ucanr.org. Their hotline, 530-889-7388. Somebody will answer for the most part. Somebody will answer.
Yes.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 to noon, or you can leave a message. Okay. Tell me that thing, these are not weeds, they are what?
Pollinator habitat.
Okay. Explain that.
There are lots of plants that we consider weeds that pollinators can get nectar from and pollen and use it to raise their young or to feed themselves. So we are passionate about protecting the wildlife that comes to our gardens and gardening for that wildlife.
Another example of that is a lot of butterflies use what we consider weeds, or people think they are weeds and remove them from their yard, and that's why a lot of these populations are down. For example, you may have heard a lot lately about the painted lady butterfly migration that
Okay.
has come through, and they're continuing to come through. Well, they use a larval host plant in the mallow family, which larval host plant means the mother butterfly needs to lay eggs on that specific plant or family of plants.
Because that's what the larvae eat.
That's the only thing it'll eat. You're probably really aware of the monarch butterfly,
Right.
who only lays eggs on milkweed.
Mm-hmm.
But some butterflies are more, they use a wider range of
Okay.
plants, and the painted lady is one of those.
Okay.
So mallow plants, which could be a weed, we have mallow weeds, but it also could be, what's the tall one? I just went totally plain.
Well, I understand.
Shoot.
But do you both have gardens like this? I know that you have a garden which you plant specifically for specific insects.
Yes, we both are very interested in that. In
Okay.
fact, one of our committees, we have 25 different committees, and one of them is the Pollinator Habitat Committee, which we are both on,
Ah,
because it's such big interest for us.
yes.
One of our efforts is to be in touch with what the public is hearing in local media and nationwide media. And pollinators were becoming more in the public awareness. I think our calendar was 2016,
I was gonna
2015.
say 4 years ago, yeah.
And it was about habitat. And that was the beginning of our push to become more educated ourselves about pollinators and then presenting that information to the public.
Okay.
And we do workshops at the Loomis Library and at the RUIT, which is Roseville Utility Exploration Center, at the Auburn Senior Center. Those are all on our website. You can find out what workshops are coming up. And we also do have a Speakers by Request Bureau where groups, organizations can call in and request a speaker for a topic that they have in mind,
Mhm.
for instance, pollinators, or to find out what talks we have that are prepared, that
Okay.
are available to groups.
So what's becoming very clear to me is that the Placer County the Master Gardeners of Placer County, one can take advantage. One doesn't have to be a master gardener to take advantage of, to learn from.
No,
Okay.
no, definitely not. We are there for, I've done schools. I had an after-school garden club when we had so much rain. The teacher called me and said, could you come and do a talk? The kids can't go out in the garden.
Yeah.
So we scaled down our pollinator presentation for first through 5th grade children, which of course is near to my heart. So it was a total enjoyment. But we do go out and educate the public. So you don't have to become a master gardener to take advantage of the program.
Okay. So as a person who, well, okay, I want a smoke tree. I want a smoke tree. So if I wanted to learn where I should put it, how much I should water it, how big it should be when I bought it, how big it's going to be, so forth, I would give you guys a call.
You could?
I could, without being urged. Oh, honey, don't
I
you
don't
know
think
that?
we ever say, oh, honey.
Darling, you sound like an educated person. Why don't you look it up for yourself? But I wouldn't know where to look it up.
Right.
Right.
And
We have that source, so yeah, that's a perfect example of some calls to hotline are exactly like that. Or I've just moved here. What are the trees in my yard? I'm not sure what these are, and so we'll ask
Bring
them
in
to
the
send
leaves.
us. We could do that,
Yeah.
or they could send us photos, and we could help identify them.
Oh, good.
Right.
Good.
And it sounds like you do know something about gardening if you realize that sun and shade is an important concept, how big it's going to get. Now you mentioned smoke trees. I was going to put in a smoke tree and I envisioned something about this big. Well, it's now 15 or 18 or
Oh, my
20
goodness.
feet tall. I did not follow my own advice and check this genus and the species, the botanical name, to find out that I'm getting the one that is cute and little as
Okay.
opposed to the one that's ginormous.
Okay. Okay. And you heard that. You heard ginormous. These people speak our English. I'm being more and more reassured the more I've talked to you. And so Tece, what groups have you led? Do you lead? Do you
Oh, presentation?
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite topics is native plants, so I have given that presentation the most often. You know, what the benefits of native plants, which ones are endemic to Placer County especially, and helping people learn what to plant and how to
Okay.
take care of them.
Can you give me some examples of native plants?
Well, some you're really familiar with, I'm sure. Toyon, which has
Okay.
red berry
Yeah.
in the fall. So there's that one. Redwood trees, which really are native to the coast. So when people plant them here in a hot inland area, it's not always a good
Help.
It's sort of, you know,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
why you want to plant the right plant in the right place.
Yes.
So you need to know, especially with native plants, what its circumstances are that it really prefers, the community it is in. So there's like oak woodland plants, there's coastal plants, riparian, which means along waterways. Very specific plants grow in those areas because
Okay.
they have the things that are necessary that we talked about. The right sun, the right amount of moisture in the soil, the right soil even. So
Yeah.
there's
And the right temperature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I'm assuming that, my assumption for master gardeners has always been automatically showy flowers like roses. But
I'm such a disappointment to you.
no, not at all.
We have rose crazy people.
Yes.
But we have those of us who, if it doesn't smell good, I don't want it. And if it's a hybrid tea, I'm probably not interested. But
Right.
there are native roses
There are.
that we can grow in our gardens. So, showy flowers are fun. But they are not be all and end all. And as you learn more about plants, you learn to appreciate other aspects of them.
Like the things that are not weeds, that instead they are
Pollinator habitat.
Well, you know what? Weeds are ugly. There's no getting around that. But putting
Oh,
a
I
fancy
don't
sign
know.
on it just makes you feel better about not having gotten to that area yet.
Okay.
I'm not saying weeds are beautiful.
Well, I think
But-
daffodils, dandelions
Yes.
are beautiful.
And did you know that dandelion pollen is orange?
No,
Have you ever seen a bee with pollen
I guess
in its
so.
little pollen
yeah, and
baskets?
it's orange. Yeah.
It's orange. There's blue pollen.
Hmm.
There's red pollen besides yellow. You learn fascinating things
Yes.
when you do the research.
Yes. You learn fascinating things when you do the research. You heard it here. Yes, and if you know me, you know that already. How much time do you spend in your gardens?
Well, it depends.
Okay.
And my answer is not enough.
All right.
And you're never finished. So, you know, and coming.
Explain
So
why you're never finished. Because
Well-
part of it is that weeds keep coming.
there
These
is that.
unattractive
There
plants.
is that, and I keep learning more, let's say, about pollinator plants, and sort of go through little cycles of the last few years being very interested in butterflies, and so seeing what the larval host plants are for those butterflies, and do I have them in my yard so that they'll stay and actually raise babies
Mhm.
in, lay the eggs. They don't raise them.
Mm.
But, provide food for them. So that's sort of been my newest thing, to get those plants in my yard. So they're usually a native plant.
Okay.
So
And I have plants I need and plants I want. Those are two separate lists. They may cross, but you're never finished learning, so your garden is never finished, even if it is spit polished,
Mhm.
which is generally not the case anyway.
Because plants don't behave the way you necessarily want them to.
And yes,
Especially mine. If you say plants you need and plants you want, what do you mean?
I go to a website of a nursery and they have a plant list, and there are some of those plants that I don't have. So I do a little research and find out I need them. Or I find out that I really just want them.
What's a plant you need?
Right now?
Yes, a tomato.
No, I have to.
You have
I
plenty
grew
of
too
tomatoes.
many tomatoes last year. I put the brakes on and said no more than, I think I ended up with 5 or 6. But
Okay.
well, I don't have on the top of my
Okay.
head a plant right now
All right.
that I need. But if you
That's a
tell
good
me
thing.
one and I don't have it, I'm sure I need it.
All right.
I think we both have a running list written down. You know, we'll read about it or see a picture of it, and
And you think, oh darn,
exactly. So
this is
I have a
something I
running
don't
list.
have and something I
Right.
want, and
So-
therefore it's something I need. Yeah. I have a terrible question for both of you. And it's a terrible question because it's so hard to answer. But bear with me. What is your favorite? I have 2 questions. What is your favorite native plant? What is your favorite flower?
Oh.
I hate so think of some of your.
I always tell whichever daughter I'm speaking to that the other one is my favorite. So you may not get a straight answer from me. Do you have one off the
do
top
you know
of your head?
what the board president of Master Gardeners told me? She said.
Cut.
Okay. So
Well-
shall we go to TC?
Yes.
It's super hard. It's like exactly what you said, choosing your favorite child. It probably depends on what's blooming right now
Okay.
and what's getting the most visitors in my yard, whether that's hummingbirds or butterflies. So right now I have it's called wood betony. It's fairly short, but it has tall purpley flowers, and the butterflies are loving it. Like this morning I had 11 painted lady butterflies visiting right there,
Oh.
as well as some carter bees. So
They were battling each other.
exactly.
Okay.
So
But they're kind to each other. The bees
yes.
are tolerant.
They all get along.
Oh, good.
Sure.
Good.
I have to say that I think a number of us have been concentrating on milkweeds and trying to unravel the propagation of milkweeds, which can be challenging, but they're hard to find in the nurseries. They're not readily available, and
The native milk.
gardeners are interested in growing them.
Okay.
So I've gotten some to grow in my yard, and I keep watching them and
Good.
hoping I see monarchs.
Good.
I haven't so far. Have you seen monarchs?
Just one. It's a very bad year for them. Their
Oh.
concentration is way down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to know that I have had a wonderful time. I haven't laughed this much in a show in quite a while.
That's good.
Is that a good thing?
It's good. It's
Yes.
really good. I'm talking to board president of Master Gardeners of Placer County, Peggy Beltramo, and board vice president, Tece Markel. And if you are interested in learning more about Master Gardeners, please log on to pcmg.ucanr.org or give them a phone call, 530-889-7388. They answer the phones Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 a.m. to noon, or if you've got an emergency, a gardening emergency, you can, I say amazed, that you can leave them a message and they will get back to you. And you can also email them. Viewers, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've had as good a time with these ladies as I have. Thank you, ladies. Master
It's been
Gardeners.
a pleasure. Thank you so much
Extraordinaire.
for giving us a chance to
You're
let the public hear more
You're
about
welcome.
our organization.
You're welcome.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you.